So I'd like to welcome our friends from JMS Capital Group and Donahue and Associates and from Lawson Lane as well. We're going to be hearing in a few minutes about the proposed development for the One Lawson Lane property to convert the existing office space into residential. Before we roll into that though, does anybody want to speak here, public forum for a brief moment? Okay, I guess we'll just go around the room and just introduce everybody. Have to say your full name, what street you live on, and board, and maybe what brought you to the meeting tonight. I guess it's okay, Zach. We'll start with you.
Zach Nursinger, Cito. I work upstairs. Here's technical assistance.
He does a lot of cool stuff too. He's just not talking about
Not fine.
Yeah. Merrick Broderick. I live on Maple Street, and in Ward 8, I'm the Burlington Ward City Councilor here. At the invitation of Councilor Grant, who can't make it, to hear about building.
My name is Jill Lesh, and I live in College Battery condo on the 7th floor with a great view.
Michelle Vargas, I'm one of the steering committee members for Ward 3. I live over here on College Street in the Russell.
I'm Susan Forrester. I live on College Street. I'm interested in what's going to happen at Lawson.
Well, I'm Chris Hazley. I live with Michelle over at College Street, in the Free Press Building, here at Ward 3, and I'm also on the NPA steering committee.
Hello, Zachary Cummings, and I live on Clark Street.
Hi, Nora Aaron, she, her pronouns. I live in 3 on North Union, right at the intersection of Loomis. And I am here today because I go to every meeting. Slash honorary steering member. Excellent.
Steve Donahue, I live on South Willard Street, Ward 6, and work for Donahue Associates, and working with the developers, redevelopers.
Valerie Lovett, with One Lawson Lane, and I live in South Burlington. Sorry.
Stefan Malton-Aldrich from JMS Capital. I live in Burlington, New York. Hopefully, I'll live in Burlington soon.
Jack Anderson, also with JMS Capital, also with the building. So excited about this.
Without further ado, if you fire up the slide deck there, Zach, and do that. But we don't have any additional participants on Zoom. It's just see how we push it out.
That is correct.
There you go.
Is this good? You want to try and kill bigger?
No, this is perfect. As long as everyone else is there. Okay, so this is the building we're discussing, One Lawson Lane, Burlington, Vermont. For those of you that don't know, right next to it. So we're excited about it. We heard about it in early July, so we're talking about it today. A little bit of background on us. This is JMS Capital Group. Both Stefan and I are part of. So we are a real estate investment firm that specializes within New York, Vermont, multifamily properties. Our portfolio consists of properties that require partial or full rehabilitations. We're applying that also to One Lawson Lane. We're a vertically integrated group. JMS Capital has integrated property management companies. We also have a construction and management company as well. So make sure that we're extremely efficient and hands-on throughout all the processes within real estate. So One Lawson Lane, this is our vision for Burlington's growth. So One Lawson Lane, we are visioning a 44-unit building consisting of 37 residential units and 7 commercial units. It's a historic property dating back to the late 19th century, originally founded as a wholesale drug and proprietary medicines manufacturing. The company grew into a global producer of medicine, dyes, and food coloring with offices and factories across the world.
So one thing to add, so that's part of the Wells Richardson company. I mean, you guys are familiar with that. There's a few buildings like the Potter's building, the powder building, part of Wells Richards, and also the building next door. So one point Wells Richards, like in the late 1800s, started as a pharmaceutical company. And they had a company in Burlington, they had a company in Montreal, they had a company in London, and a company in Sydney, right? They were doing really well, they were really great with advertisement, and they were selling pharmaceutical products. As the company was growing, they needed to have more warehouse space, and started building more buildings. One of the larger buildings they built was the warehouse at 1 Lawson Lane. One point was actually called 127 College and a Half Street, then I'm not sure when they switched to 1 Lawson Lane. So I also have a pamphlet of some of the products that they used to sell. This is something from 1897. And one product is it's called Payne's Celery Compound. So they used to sell a product made out of celery, and I think other products like cayenne pepper and some other stuff. And they would give these pamphlets out, and they show, I would pass it around, all the people in America, all the big society people who were using this product. And the way they did really well is that their advertisement would just promote people, they would give out products for free, and they would grab people in, and they would do really well. But at one point, like in 1903, the US government started implementing that everyone had to show exactly what was on the product. And then people started discovering that a lot of these products, not necessarily this one, had cocaine, had heroin. So some of the business went down the tubes. And so I'll just pass this on. So that's a little history of the product we have at the warehouse. Correct, that's exactly.
Darn cocaine product.
Yeah,
It's very interesting. They have very strong historical figures. I mean, you talk about future presidents and that utilize this. Really interesting looking into this. We had a ton of fun.
and one other thing, 1 Lawson Lane, is that there was a tunnel that went from 1 Lawson Lane to the Potter's building. The tunnel's closed up, but there was a tunnel, and that's how they used to go back and forth through the buildings.
Underground.
Underground,
Yeah, there's a lot of tunnels around here, there's
Number of
actually
buildings.
some that
Right.
that even from Black Rat actually all the way down to the lake. Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, we could go to the next slide. So maximizing the opportunity. So 1 Lawson Lane is located within a growth center in the downtown sports center. There are various amenities within a walking distance, including shops, grocery stores, public transportation, and hospitals. So we have a vivid image of what this property can be utilized as. And it's a modern finished residential building that retains the beautiful historic attributes of its original design to keep the historical attachments so closely held.
Yeah, so we were trying to keep all the bricks exposed, all the wooden beams exposed, just kind of keep the history that's there.
So it's gonna turn out very nice, keeping the historical touches. By doing so, the building will integrate modern finishes that tenants enjoy with historical elements, creating a comfortable and well-designed living space, particularly for the community of Burlington who will appreciate it. So nearly 100 years ago, the building served the Burlington community, and now we revitalize it, creating a space for present-day community to enjoy and call home. So you can see actually on the bottom picture, that is the building, I believe, in 1903. You can see that's like the main lobby. And I mean, just researching this was a ton of fun. And then the top two pictures of course, a little bit more recent. So one is a commercial space and the other is the exterior. Getting into some property level details. So unfortunately, the floor plans are quite small on the top right, but they are quite spacious, and this is going to be the typical floor layout. So we're looking at about on the second, third, and fourth floor, 12 unit floor on the residential side, and we plan to go ahead and integrate these units with modern fixtures and appliances, and also throughout the building, amenities plans in both the basement and on the first floor for the property.
And each apartment is gonna have its own washer dryer, so we're gonna have somebody to work with, people like it.
So,
Are these all rental?
Yes.
so in addition to this, we're working on parking spaces for the tenants. We actually worked on that today. And of course, the project combined with the city support, we know exactly what the market needs. Modern units, area needed for prices. But I can go ahead and check with the preliminary zoning units. A mix of 1 and 2 bedrooms. We also have a 1 bedroom basement unit, 6 commercial, 2 restaurants.
For existing restaurants. Correct.
what are the two restaurants? Yeah.
One is Orlando's, right, and then the other one's Blue Cat, but that obviously shut down. That's been shut down for a while, but we plan to rent it out back to the restaurant.
So this slide's about the timeline, so. We've been dedicated to this project with a strong goal of transforming vacant commercial spaces into much needed housing. Project will be clean and shovel ready for an anticipated start date of Q2 of this year. And we're proposing a completion in about 2 years, so Q1 2027 is our.
So what?
Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, absolutely.
So just to cue, so what happens, we have, right now, the 4th floor is vacant, so the plan is to renovate first the 4th floor, the 12 units. And as we get spaces on the 3rd and 2nd floors, when we'll start renovating, so as leases run out, that's when we will start renovating, that's why it's gonna take us 2 years to finish it up. But I would say approximately each floor of 12 units is gonna take 4 to 5 to 6 months to get done, depending how, how quick we get our finishes, whatever not, but that's what the plan is.
Yeah, so below you can go ahead and see our completed timeline to date. So we first initiated the acquisition and contact of the property back in July. Right now, we are trying to go ahead and move forward with finalizing permitting to hopefully close on the property in March, about a month. Next completion dates, of course, we want to get construction started in Q2 of this year, and then hopefully have occupancy in Q2 of 2027. In all past projects, we've been able to stick to our timelines, and we expect the same here. So this is a little bit more details on the impact. So there's about 6 of these, one being job creation. So we believe that new construction and development will generate local jobs as well as ongoing operations will create permanent employment opportunities. We believe that the property can boost local businesses, increase foot traffic, and potential commercial space will support local businesses and attract new ones. This is in alignment with city goals. By adding value to the city's strategic goal of increasing housing, urban revitalization, and sustainability. We're giving improved housing options, so we have various units at various rent prices. Development will include and have different unit types, meeting the demand for more housing in Burlington. And it's going to be attractive opportunities. We believe that the revitalization could spark the renewal of nearby underdeveloped or vacant properties benefiting the entire community. And this final slide is our proposed finishes. This is my favorite part of the design, the finish. We like to always keep historical decor. And the paper and pamphlet that Stephon passed around has a few of these images. We would actually like to get that celery Payne's bottle, put it throughout the building.
They sell it actually on Etsy. So I will do something, I buy those bottles, so I actually will buy a few, we'll put it around whatever else we go buy from back in 1897. I can't believe they didn't have, some people still have it, but it was a very popular product. There was actually a billboard on Church Street about that product that they were trying to sell as well.
Billboards in Vermont.
Not billboard, like, yeah, exactly, it was painted, I guess. I don't know if that's a billboard.
Which building is that on?
I'm not sure, it's an old picture, and I can email it to the group, but it's an old picture that had it painted on the facade.
There have been some folks in our committee who suggest restoration of said advertisements as a way of beautifying the city and to the arts department, so be interesting. And what you may not be aware of is that we actually had a glass factory just not too far away. That across from Battery Park. It's a historical marker there for glass bills, so.
Would they have made the bottles?
That's what that was my first thought, I was wondering, would they have made them bought?
It would make sense, I mean, it's right there,
It's
right?
really awesome.
I know just the historian asked.
And that wraps it up. So,
You mentioned parking there, I'm trying to visualize where people would park.
right, so we're working with the city right now to go ahead and make contracts on certain public spaces. And then there's also a parking lot next door that we're talking with a different property owner about to go ahead and utilize some of those spaces for our tenants, both residential and commercial spaces.
Beside the double table holiday, that space you're talking about.
Yeah, it must be.
Is that right? Yeah, it's next
It's
to,
the yellow building, Joe McNeil's building. It's the Ben and Jerry's lot. The old Ben
Yeah.
and Jerry's thing, where Lawson Lane Park is now.
Yeah, given our climate, I don't know, parking lot.
But
80 corporate plaza might be another option. That's also unified parking partners. Property, I believe, yes, pretty much across the way, it's not too far at all, and I think they have some vacancy there, so if you're already talking unified parking partners, that's about corporate plaza.
Okay,
but the parking lot where Ben and Jerry's was is actually being leased by the building as well, so we have that lease till 2026.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so we have parking till then, and we've actually contacted a few people to be able to rent spots from them, monthly spots, so then we'll just give it to the tenants, that's kind of what they're doing. So. And we also reached out to the transportation management department, we're also creating that type of transportation and management, or to have like shared shuttles, shared car ride, or whatever, that's kind of what we do.
Are there gonna be like any shared amenities like fitness area, pool, like theater rooms?
So again, we're renovating 4th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd floor, and where the existing bathrooms are, like these large bathrooms, there's a middle space, we wanna each floor have its own little amenities, we have a place for reading area. One room we might have a pool table, one other room we'll have downstairs, we're thinking actually putting a gym, a sauna, and maybe like a cold plunge, we have a lot of room in the basement.
In terms of the numbering scheme, because the building is built into what was originally a hillside. When you enter the building and the main entrance, is that just certainly, that would be the first floor?
It's such an interesting question, because when you come in from that end, it's the 1st floor, but when you go towards, let's say, Main Street, that's actually the 2nd floor, right?
So I didn't know if you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, or a ground 1, 2, 3 scheme.
We almost have, if you go from the back, almost looks like you have 5 floors, because you have the Orlando's bar or whatever that, and then you have the 1st floor or 2nd, whatever, that's how it is, but we have. Right now, we're renovating the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, and the 1st floor or ground floor, whatever you may call it, is the remaining ground commercial.
What about like bike storage space and
So
things like
down-
that,
down-
or storage space in general?
So downstairs, there are plenty of rooms, there was a room, Val could also attest to this, that there was actually an art gallery down there, it's a huge room, and that's where we're gonna be putting our bike storage. There's another room where they used to have oil tanks, and that's gonna be where we have just tenant storage. And again, in every floor, we haven't figured out, but the large spaces where the bathrooms are, that's a lot of room to have storage lockers there as well. The building has a lot of storage there, we'll be able to.
What are the non-restaurant floors currently being used for? Are they all vacant?
So the 4th floor is vacant, 3rd and 2nd floor are just offices, some are financial offices, some are engineering offices. Another place, there is a hair or jewelry, right? Is it-
And it's commercial office space for the lease terms, other than the 2 restaurants. Once upon a time, pre-COVID, there was a hair salon there, and the building is probably running about 45% occupancy.
Building needs life, right now there's no life in the building, it's half empty, you know?
We definitely need some housing. See, we have Councilor Shannon from the South District online here with us. Councilor Shannon, do you have any questions for the developers here?
Thank you, Chris. I was just wondering if, and you may have answered this and I didn't hear it. Are there any residential units currently in the building?
Yes, there is one residential studio in the basement floor. That's been there easily, I'm gonna say 10-ish years.
Will that one unit, will there be any displacement?
No. Just taking it.
Great, thank you. It looks like a great, looks like a really beautiful project that's gonna add housing. I think converting commercial space to residential is the direction the demand is certainly going in, and thank you for doing this.
We're excited about it. Yeah, we're very excited.
I just want to say thank you, Councilor Shannon, for coming. Councilor Shannon is, I believe, our longest serving councilor now, and will be stepping down here in a month or so after 20 years of service to our city. So appreciate you stopping in to visit with us on your farewell tour, so to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of properties that are saying majority urban. We have other ones in southern Vermont. And one is very old factory from the 1850s. And we're doing the same thing. It's sitting vacant as an industrial property. And we're giving it life. And we're adding 30 units there. We're excited about that. And the timeline's relatively the same. So, you know, we're going ahead and trying to go ahead and help the housing crisis across Vermont. So that's also an area of need. So I'm excited about it. And we're going to work with the state and on that. So.
So I think, you know, there's a lot of support here in our community and across from for adaptive reuse, particularly when you're taking an older building such as this that has a lot of character. Then you're gonna be coming up with a design to actually incorporate that from a certain thing goes a long way and makes it really attractive to prospective renters.
Charlie.
What's also nice is that it has an elevator. So you have tenants that, you know, there's some issues that go to the elevator. It's a very well-built building, a very not so difficult conversion to residential. It's like asking to be converted. That's talk to me, as you say, converted.
Any further questions? Just out of curiosity, it's mostly 1 and 2 bedrooms, and then there's a number of inclusionary zoning. What's the target price range for the monthly rents on that?
I mean, in total, for the one bed, it's gonna be about $1,450 to about $2,200. And we have a range.
Okay.
So various options, and then the 2 bedrooms is slightly higher. Yeah, a few $100.
So you're probably 18 to 22 on the 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, depending on what kind of finishes they have right there. Because you have, the inclusionary will probably be 1,800, a little higher end will probably be, I would say 23.
What's gonna be the differentiation between finishing?
I think sometimes we're gonna have, you know, some of the appliances are gonna be a little higher grade, you can have some places with a little nicer finishes, maybe different GE as opposed to another type of finish, you'll have maybe a washer dryer, that's just a combo as opposed to a stackable one. The little things that, you know, people may wanna have to pay a little extra and that's something nicer.
Have you
Can I add, and the views,
And the views,
and the
exactly.
views, there's amazingly views on the west side, west and south side of the building.
Which is funny you say that because on the top floor, so we live in Burlington, I have 3 kids, they're already older, 2 of them are at McGill University, the youngest one's 15. And within 3 years, I plan to move to Burlington, and actually I wanna live in that building. So it's kind of like, that's selfishly, I really want the building.
Thank you. Oh, is this the first time you've built in a community that had with an inclusionary zoning ordinance? Have you worked with that type of before?
I think this is the first time we've done this, right? 'Cause, you know, we're renovating 131 Church Street right here. And we don't have inclusionary zoning, but we are adding 2 more apartments, and once we get to that point, we'll also have to put inclusionary zoning as well.
Yes, we've been working with them, but we haven't gone through the process since we haven't started the additional units. So here will probably need that, so.
And you mentioned your building in Southern Vermont, so how many projects do you currently have that are active in the state?
So we have, so the one building we have is in Bennington, it's old mill from 1850. And we used to make long underwear for World War I soldiers. It was that building that's in Bennington, and we have a building in Brattleboro, which was owned by TD Bank. TD Bank had offices they were not using, so we renovated and put 13 apartments in that building with the bank still there. And then we have another building on 114, 116 Main Street in Brattleboro, where I don't know if you guys have been to Brattleboro recently, where the Works Cafe is, right there, we're renovating the top floor, bringing in apartments as well.
Will there be any opportunity to see the project's progression picture?
Yeah. Yeah, any picture, you guys have my email address, you guys want any pictures, whatever, now, I'll send you. With my team, we take pictures every day of the, so every day with pictures, so eventually Jack and I will talk about how I would love to have a website that shows the progress from beginning to end on everything, but we're open book, you guys wanna call me, text me, we'll send you pictures, so.
I think the community probably appreciate that, and I've had a little bit of a background in light construction, it's like watching a building transform from one use to another. And just watching that process and documenting, I think people might find that, particularly given its historic nature and the fact that you're looking to preserve that. I mean, there's a story to be told there.
Yeah, well, no problem. I enjoy showing it.
Mr. Charlie Messing, he's on our Ward 3 NPA steering committee.
That's where the first building in town, one of the first in the country that was converted from an old factory to 65 elderly apartments at the corner of Pine and College.
That's nearby.
It was a candy factory.
Really? Are you hitting candy? You find it really nice.
The candy's all gone.
Definitely.
That's all gone.
It's very limited.
That property is just across the way from us.
Yeah, they used to build solid, you know, they used to, like here in this building, I was talking to Barry, and you have floors which are basically 5 inches thick. So, because they had a lot of weight there, right, they didn't have steel really back then, so you have planks, 1-inch planks, and they were like nominal 1 inch, now what we have right now, 1 inch is like.
Yeah,
Now,
3/4.
it used to be 3/4, now it's like 5/8, so it's like a 1/4 inch, but anyway, so you have 1 inch board one way, 1 inch board the other way, so you have 3 inches of wood. Plus the beam, so it's solid.
That's good, you know.
Those
good
beams
supply.
that were in that old photo, over the course, we've unwrapped them to get the more lofty historic look, and they're all there. Those beams are still there, and your engineer told me what the holes were in the side.
Yeah, what were they?
So I don't know if you can go back to that picture, but they have these beams that have like this bump out with these holes. And it's something to do with the brick. And if the brick started to get out of line, they put these big cables in there and they pull on it, and they pull
Oh,
it
you
back
pulled it
in.
back in,
Yeah.
I did.
It's some kind of cross tie type thing to, yeah, those beams are still there. You can't do the
Bracing, or just.
the bracing, yeah, and it's an old technology to keep the building standing up. Yeah, your guy told me about it, I actually never knew what it was. Yeah. To old technology.
The screen doesn't do it justice
It doesn't
compared to
do
what
it
I'm
justice.
seeing.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I thought
please,
that
no,
was
it's
a
fine, yeah.
Interesting little.
That is a fun fact.
And you get
Anything else that people want to see while I have the
There's somebody
presentation
that-
open?
there's
I
paint on it.
crazy, I know.
Once, twice. Looks like we're coming up on the 7 o'clock hour, so unless there's any further questions, this was our only agenda item for the meeting.
I wanna appreciate, thank you everybody for making this happen, we really need it, just so we can push this forward, and I wanna thank everybody, thank you.
And thank you for coming to Burlington, you know, we really need the housing too, and if someone who lives just a block away in downtown core, having another 37 units coming on, you know, or online, you know, in the next year and a half or so, I think it's gonna be what we need here in town.
And speaking for Lawson Lane, I totally agree with you and agree with what they're doing. And to have the vibrancy 24/7 will bring the quality of life that you wanna see in the core back downtown. Cause, you know, right now I'm on my cameras, watching all sorts of stuff I don't wanna be watching anymore. I wanna change that channel.
Just remember, all types of travelers from near and far come to
Okay.
Are there any next steps we need from the public or?
I have a question for Meg. I don't believe anything right now.
This came about from planning and zoning or from the.
From zoning,
From zoning wanted to make sure this,
we had a check, what happened, we went through zoning, they had a checklist of items we need to take care of. We need to get wastewater management permit, which we.
Right, you can't even put in the application for the zoning permit. till
Until we
after
have,
this
then all this came up and I'm not familiar with the
Yeah,
process, so I'm like, what am I gonna do, but then we took care of transportation, like I mentioned. Took care of wastewater management, a permit, that's already taken care of. Hopefully, this is taken care of today, and then we can submit everything, so we're actually on the 1 yard line. so.
Yeah, so we had to work everything back from the proposed closing. date.
Correct.
Factor in the 50-day Appeals window,
Yeah,
hence why it came together, but yeah, we brought it together, I think I first talked to Meg about a week ago, so.
Yeah, thank
Grateful
you.
we can pull this together.
Because when the bank brought it up, we were gonna close, and the bank said, listen, we want zoning permit before, I'm like, you can't tell this to us 11th hour. And then I'm like, okay, so let's see what we need to get this done, and then, you guys helped us out, so
Yeah,
thank you.
no, we're excited,
On
thank
the
you.
notes, you guys are doing a big service to the city and the overall community,
Mhm.
so.
Thank you.
Alright, move to adjourn, all in favor?
Second.
Aye,
I.
meeting is adjourned, thank you, everybody.